All right, we are back. My apologies. Every now and then, this the stream goes down. I don't know why. It does what it does. Let's see. Hopefully, we're popping back on and up, and you guys will be in. Yep, there we are. We are back up. Sorry about that. We got one person in. Back up. There we are. Mr. Green. Hello, sir. Um, Bummer when that happens, and I don't know why it happens. It just does. Hello again. Apologies for the interruption in service. It gives us a chance to say, "Hey, let's get some of our friends back in here, back from the void." I'm so annoyed. It's like the internet's destroyed. Who was employed to employ this thing, a young boy? Man, come on. Can't play with that shit like it was a toy. Oh, yeah, I said I'm rapping. What happened? You napping, not clapping? You need a napkin? Did I diss you? Don't like to feel this napkin? Here's a tissue. My apologies. I'm a freestyling fool sometimes. All right, we're back in. We're back in. Let's continue. David and Goliath. Someone had mentioned Thor 410. Uh, you know, and I'm trying to remember what was in that issue because I was doing some ebb and flow during comics. There was a long period of time where I was drawing them and not reading them. All right, let's take Kevlar's advice and throw a little bit of saturation, as he said, lasso. So we take this, and I'll take that foreground element. I'll move him here. Why not like that? Do this like this. But we're also going to do another trick. Watch this. If I do this, and I select him, and then I say copy, then I paste, he becomes slightly darker, like this. I merge that down. Then I'm going to take homeboy here. I'm going to copy him. Then I'm going to do this, and I'm going to cut him. I'm going to take him out. Say, peace out, dude. But then we're going to paste him again. But what I was talking about as far as atmospheric perspective is if I take him and reduce his opacity down just slightly, ever so slightly, we get the impression that he's a little further away. So we merge that down. Add some darker details in there to pop them. And then let's create a new layer. And let's put some sort of futuristic. Oh, Ron Friends. Yeah. He's awesome. Yeah, D. I think sometimes this thing just drops. And there's not much we can do about that. So if you guys ever heard of atmospheric perspective? It's the idea that the detail and the density of contrast goes a little. I don't know if there's a blur on here. Gaussian blur, there is. That's great. I didn't realize I can do that on here too. Okay, this is great. So I can do this. Throw a little blur back there. I didn't know I had this tool. This is great. This is my first time using it, guys. Alright, I'm going to try this on our guy here too. Just a slight bit on him. What is perspective blur? What's that? Oh, they mean a zoom blur. Okay, I see, I see. Look at that. New, new fun things. Cool. And then we can copy, paste, bring that back a little bit because I wasn't sure. Now that I didn't know we could blur him. Yeah. There we go. It's like my fitness on a motherfucking hit list. And then we put some more texture, craters, some more of that smoke, more detail up in contrast in this area. We'll give we popped back that by the opacity and the blur, and then on this one we're making it sharper, darker, and more value. See, there we go. That's right, Kevlar. We talked about that on Facebook today. Atmospherics are great. They can add a lot to a scene and do some storytelling. Check this out. Speaking of storytelling, we can have some looks like dirt back here. Actually, let's do this instead of dirt. Let's just leave it be and sign it. In 1 month's time, I will have known Rob Liefeld for 30 years. 30 years. Which is kind of crazy to think about. You know, I met Rob when I was 16. I'm gonna remove this from the list and do it clean. And if we have time to come back for a review, we'll do a review. I don't know how long that other one went for, but I have a full day tomorrow. That I got the boy's birthday. I got a Doom Patrol meeting. Some other things that I'm doing. But you guys want to look at some comics? One of these days I'm going to buy a computer and leave the fossils to the archaeologist. The computer's good. There are a few things that my computer can do that my iPad can't do. One of them, they both can do editing. It's just with an iPad, with doing the touching and cutting with tapping and fingers. Excuse me. It's not as efficient and quick as it is with a computer. Music, you can do music with a computer. In fact, this song. See, now I'm gonna have to add this back in. I don't know if it's gonna play. If it'll play this. That song I did called Nike That was done completely with this iPad. Let me see if I can find the there it is, music. I'm trying to remember what the app was called. That's the thing that I don't remember. Beatmaker 2. Here it is. Load project, my content. To do. Is this it? Load. Let me check. Yeah. Exactly. see if I can switch it over. So here we are. Oh. I don't know how to close this window out. I'm trying to remember how to close this one out. There we are. So this entire song was built on this iPad. And the loop should be right about here. So anyhow, I built that entire beat using an iPad. So there's not much you can't do with an iPad. I think that would be some. Yo, Mike, be well, man. Thanks for coming through. You're a good man as always. Let's see some of this stuff. Snyder Capullo, yeah, that's good. Oh, Chauncey asks, is the definition of cool beat sample from Warren G's definition of a thug? No, it was the same one that was used in a Tupac beat, but we did ours first. There were a couple of samples where I knew my producer Dave was onto something when a lot of the stuff we used on the Fragaboom demo, a lot of those samples ended up in songs like Warren G's, Tupac's, a couple others. I think Ghetto Boys, I think, was another one that we used the same samples. Not that we're pioneers, because that's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying, like, the Z-Guys, it was in the air as far as, like, those are some good jams to work from. Let's see. I had a question in fear of repeating myself. How many issues of a comic should have one completed before starting to push them around to publishers? I'm working on number 3 currently. Let me think. I don't know. I think if you come with the thing done, like, is it a continuing series? If it's a mini series, you want to just wrap it up and show it. If it's a series, I think 3 is enough, man. Oh, that's why. Okay, that's why. Then yes, it's the same sample. Yes, sir. But we didn't hear the Warren G one. We just thought that was a good sample to use. Like we used Commodore's Brick House. We used Teddy Pendergrass on another one. I mean, this is going on 25, 26 years ago. But yeah, good ear, my friend. I was like, Warren G, I don't know if I know that song, but I know the Tupac one. I did not know he produced that. Orange G. But yeah, see, Mark is right. Go with Indiegogo. It's tough, man. Like, that's the thing. That's the thing that I think is it's tough out there for comic creators if they don't have a built-in audience. The way I see it working is, say, someone like Rob Willis, where his stuff is so strong out the gate that you can't help but notice it. So you want to do that, but the thing you don't want to be when it comes to crowdfunding is you don't want to be a needle in a needle stack. You know, they say searching for a needle in a haystack, but what if you're a needle in a needle stack? It's like looking for a platinum needle in a needle stack. It's like they're all shiny and silver. So you got to do something to stand out, like be gold, you know, instead of silver, like that sort of thing. So on something like bringing it to a publisher like Image or IDW, you want to show and prove. So 3 issues, I think, is enough to really say this is what this is about and this is the vibe of the thing. It's certainly more than a few pages, certainly more than an issue. You know, when they say, when Mark says go with Indiegogo, that's a vector for sure. I feel like there's, and this could just be my naivete or not really knowing enough about it, but I feel like the stuff that has a stronger chance when it comes to crowdfunding is the more known commodities you have. And this is like, again, if you could stand out with incredible stuff, then do it. Uh, I've seen guys that are incredible go and crowdfund and not fund their book, and it's because the concept may not pop. Somebody like Ethan did it right because Cyberfrog was something that he had done before. He had built his reputation over at DC, doing the Green Lantern work with Jeff Johns and some of the stuff he had done over at Marvel with Grant Morrison. Uh, so he was able to do that, but then you see some other guys out there that are known comic veterans that put something out and it's a new concept that no one's ever seen before that looks and feels like another comic, and it's just them wanting to do their own thing. And those typically don't do as well as if they had come with something. And I feel like somebody like Ethan or somebody like even Marat or anybody that did create their own stuff in the '90s has a fighting chance. So that's not me saying don't do it. It's just saying that it's not a cut and dry thing where you go, yeah, do this. See, so and so did that, and they did this. You can't just do that because there are so many variables that will help you sink or swim. Like when I do Black Flag, I need you guys. I need you guys, like literally, like to get the thing done. And I'm hoping and praying people will remember Black Flag and that sort of thing. But you know, let's see. Get a team together. I write, draw, ink, and letter, so I need a dude to do the business in. I found a guy, but it took some time. Yeah, I tried that too, Kevlar. I got burned. That guy my guy wasted 2 years of my life. And what I did is I picked up on all the business stuff myself. I can pencil, ink, color, and letter. I can letter with a computer. I have my own font. I can color, and I'm very slow. Uh, and there are a lot of guys that can do that. You can do it. I know Ed Piskor can do it. Piskor. There are a lot of guys that can do it. I'm of the mind, though, that the more you do, the slower it goes. And sure, you get pure authorship. But I don't know, man. Like I said, I'm always trying to find ways to make something go faster so you can get it out. And that doesn't mean faster, less quality. It's more faster and out more and more reliably. But if you can do it all, then that's the shit, dude. Like Ed does it all, and he's making it work. Dan, do you recall when Truman framed a Warren G album and put it in the window of Art Emporium, and Warren's uncle happened to be walking by and came in the store ready to fight? I don't. I do not remember that. That's nuts. That's crazy, man. I had no idea. Yeah, yeah. A lot of times, like I remember, I made a post one time. Blast Shield. I made this post saying I named a bunch of great dudes, right? Walt Disney, Steve Jobs, Eminem, Dr. Dre. I named all these guys, right? And for every one of these guys, Walt Disney had a Roy Disney. Steve Jobs had a Steve Wozniak. John Lasseter had an Ed Catmull. Eminem had a Paul Rosenberg. Dr. Dre had a Suge Knight, and later on a Jimmy Iovine. So Jay Z had a Dame Dash. Ja Rule had a Irv Gotti. I'm naming music guys now, but Tarantino had his guy Lawrence Bender. There a lot of the people I admire had somebody that was able to let them just create and go, and that's ultimately what I was looking for. Because I just wanted to say, tell me when and where, and I'll be there, and I'll do that. That's what I needed because I knew I had the ability to do it, and I knew I had the ideas, and I wasn't what I call beaten feet, like just getting out there and securing the deals and you know securing conventions and travel and things like that. Uh, it's a whole nother skill set. It's also energy draining, and it's a full time job. So you want somebody else to do that, but I felt so burned by the last one that I took it upon myself to really figure it out and get it done. So now I'm one stop shop when it comes to that. But slowly and surely, I got guys like Matt Yaki and Andre Kromoff that I'm bringing in, and slowly teaming up. I look at Andre and Matt. Taking Disney as an example. Andre is a magician when it comes to out of the box thinking, and he's a super technology guy. So like he just thinks that way, and Matt is a creative genius, and has great ideas and things too. So I think it's taking, I forget his name. It's not Andrew Carnegie, but the guy who wrote. He wrote Think and Grow Rich, and Napoleon Hill, I think, is his name, right? He talks about this thing called the mastermind principle, right? So it's having an ultimate vision and seeing all the ways in which that you can get all the right people to do it. Henry Ford once was being forget what the word is, interrogated. I don't know if the word's interrogated, but he was in a courtroom, and the lawyer said to him, "Do you mean you can tell me how the blah 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 works in your automobile?" And he's like, "I don't need to know. If I need to know, I pick up my phone and I have your answer for you. That's how that works. I just know the car needs to do this. How it does this, I have a guide." But he had the wherewithal to understand how that works. But slow and sure, we're gonna build this thing, and you guys are, like I said, a major part of it. When Black Flag starts coming up and around, we will be plugging it on this show. We will be putting it out on the airwaves. It will be completely worth it and everything that you would hope it would be. The story is something I'm incredibly excited about. Let's see what else we got here. EVS has a huge YouTube platform, over 130,000 subs, and averages 1,000 people on live streams. He definitely put in the work. That's right, man. Akuma, you're absolutely right. And back when he did his original campaign, he wasn't at 130. He was at somewhere around 58,000 subs. So he's accumulated a lot. I have a lot of respect and love for Ethan. Again, there's some of the topics he goes over. That's not my bag, and I bring up some political stuff every now and then. I call it political stuff, but it's stuff that I see out there where I feel like as a society we're being gaslit, or that there's like sort of ebbs and flows when it comes to society. I remember once seeing this chart of what's fashionable for women, and it was this bit about the lengths of skirts and the rise of the bosom and the size of the bosom, right? It would go up and down, and it would be covered, and it would this. But sometimes later in time, modesty became more of the popular things. Big butts were shunned upon, and then big butts were awesome. And what I feel like in society right now is that, like, in the 80s, in the era I grew up in, the comedy movies and horror movies and TV shows like Married with Children wouldn't be made now. They couldn't make it now. I was listening to Richard Pryor. I'm like, yo, he couldn't take a stage in 2019. Because the pendulum swings over to that offends me, to like, who fucking cares? You only live once. There's an ebb and flow. So those are the kind of things that I'll talk about. Let's see, Dan, the Uncle Mando, do we take it down, or you call Warren and Dre's lawyer? 10 minutes of convincing him we were simply fans of the record and wanted to post up. He turned out to be a cool guy. That's cool, man. He's just protecting. Do you have any advice on getting better at figure drawing? Yes, I do. I will tell you it's a multi-pronged process, right? So let's turn the iPad on, and I'm gonna create a new document, and we'll talk about it a little bit. So one of the things I would recommend you do is get one of those Figma figures. I got mine on Amazon. They're those little dummies, right? They, and the cool thing about them is they break them up into parts. There's like a head part, a neck part, this sort of like rib cage thing that's like this. It's just the chest and the rib cage like this. There's this abdomen area, and then there's this sort of like bridle girdle hip area that's a separate piece than the abdomen. And the abdomen, looks like this, but it's separate from the rib cage and separate from this. Then it's got a shoulder that has a pretty good pivot that can rotate, this way, that way. It can do all the rotations, and then its hinge point is pretty good, and it has the muscles, and that part of the thing can turn. Then it's got a bunch of different hands. The way the leg and the knee work on this thing is pretty cool too. And it's, when I showed you guys like how I draw a foot, I got that sort of understanding from looking at this toy. The thing had a little socket thing here. This part of the foot was hinged, and this part of the foot was hinged. So when you pose it out, you could do that with the foot. So what I recommend, the reason I bring this up is when I play with this figure, I just kind of start thinking of the parts in forms. I go, okay, this goes here, this goes here. So that's part one, is get one of those figures and pose it and hold it up to your face. Close one eye so you're not getting that full depth, and you get an idea of how things foreshorten, how things connect, and also the twist of things, right? So if this is the torso, imagine like a rope right here and a ball. And let's say this is for XYZ, let's say this is the X and Y on this twist, and then we got the X and Y on this twist. Try to think of things as solid forms too. But just remember, like this shape here that I'm talking about, you can bend it like this so it's on top of each other, or you can throw it back like this, and this says a lot in just really simple shapes, right? So there's that. Then I would also recommend getting George Bridgman's Constructive Anatomy, and because he has this whole section on what he has a book that is from the Constructive Anatomy. Complete Guide to Drawing from Life, I think is what it's called. But he talks about how things interconnect. So like if you can have a let's say a forearm like this, and you have right now this knuckle and the thumb is facing us, right? And this is not the best drawing of a fist or whatever. This is just for the sake of things. But you have this muscle here, and let's call this point. Let's just make that point red so we can identify it. Okay, and then let's do a red point here and draw this straight line like this. Now, the human machine is about, and this is what we were talking about earlier when I was doing the Goliath thing, is if I have this same forearm in that same position, but I turn, so we're seeing more of the back of the fist. More of, see now this has turned down and this has gone up, so this area changes, it widens out, you see more of it and more musculature flexes in there. So you want to know that about the human machine. Also, like on an arm, if you look at an arm extended, the bicep up here flattens out. Second you flex it, the bicep will arc like that. So those are just little things. Or for example, this is one of my favorite ones. Let me go back to black. If you have somebody pulling their shoulders back,
I'm gonna show you my masterpiece.
You guys, okay? Well, let's show it to them on the thing. My wife just made Harrison's birthday cake. This will be the camera look.
Wait a minute.
Okay.
But
I want to see it.
But wait, I'm in no way a baker.
I know you're not a baker.
Like a decorator.
Yeah, she just made Harrison's birthday cake. Oh, that's why there's two cakes. That's what the surprise was.
Yeah.
How cute is that? He's gonna love it, Mama. What a cute job.
Thank you.
You're welcome. That's my lady.
I made a cake.
You made an awesome cake. I love you.
Love you too.
Alright, we are back. I'm a lucky man. Okay, blast shield. This is one thing I will say about Hogarth stuff. Look at it for how things twist, but definitely try to stay away from the rendering. Try to stay away from making everything look bronze and like it's made out of a twisty balloon. That's the only thing. The reason I like Bridgman so much is people look like they're solid, and even when they twist, it feels like mechanics versus like a twisty balloon. They love your cake, love.
What?
They love your cake.
Oh, good.
Yeah, Harrison's a lucky dude. So, okay, so check this out. So let's say you have a torso like this, and they're doing the Wolverine where they're pulling the arms back. We call that doing the Wolverine, right? One of the things that you need to know is that we have these collarbones, right? Inside, like here's a torso. We have a collarbone here. And then on the back of a torso, we have shoulder blades. Okay, let's just call that the back. We have shoulder blades. Those interact, and that's what I say the human machine. Like, so if you have your shoulders back, they're gonna pull those collarbones back. Hi, Layla. They're gonna pull those collarbones back, but it's also gonna compress those shoulder blades. Those are gonna go in, and they're basically gonna match. So you want to compress the back. When you pull your shoulders back, you're compressing the back and the shoulder blades. Now, if we do the same thing, the other Wolverine where he's flexing forward, where we see the arms come forward like this, we want to now make that collarbone do this Instead of this, you turn it into an arch, an upside down V versus a V. And then with the shoulder blades, they're gonna create this rounded look. So, and it's gonna compress the chest. So this is gonna widen the chest. This is gonna compress the chest. So, and that's just by moving the shoulders down. Imagine that this is a hinge and this is a hinge, and these things fold. So that's a little bit of a mechanics thing when it comes to, like, when you think about this bit and that bit and how they're interrelated. Also, the idea that the pectoral connects into the deltoid. So when you move it, the elbow pinky situation that I talk about, how it informs things. So I know that if I put this arm back, that if I put that collarbone back and compress that shoulder blade, that everything else sort of fits in. That if this comes here, that bicep will be down. If that elbow is up, because of that pinky, the elbow is up, that means the bicep is down. I see a lot of guys draw this position with the ball of the bicep here, or they draw this and you see some tricep. Like, just gotta keep that away. Yeah, my dog checked in for a guest spot. Good old Layla. She's a good dog. She is a good dog. We're gonna close out today's show. I know we've gone 36 minutes on this one, and I know we did some on the other one. We've been going for almost 2 hours and 20 minutes, if I'm doing my math right. We can take a look at one comic. I'm gonna just do a random one. I'm gonna pick one here on the iPad, and we'll talk it out. We'll talk about that comic. Let's go into Comic Zeal. My good old long box collection. I got Dark Knight, Uncanny X-Men annuals. These are all the Arthur Adams annuals, which is also here in Asgardian Wars. We've got the Cloak and Dagger series, all of Liefeld's New Mutants, Youngblood X-Force, Hulk by McFarlane, Keown, and John Byrne. We have Spider-Man by J.R. and McFarlane, X-Men by Jim Lee and Wills, Punisher by Mike Zeck, Punisher also by Eric Larson, Wills Portasio. We got the Warzone. Not sure what this is. Oh yeah, this one's good. If you guys, man, Zafino. Let's use it. This one. Let's do it. Let's just look at one page and then we'll call it a night. This one. Look how gestural his brush strokes are here. He's defining that arm with the side of a paintbrush. He's telling you about rage with only some blobby lines. So, anyhow, I think I'm going to cut this one short. I'm realizing how late it is. We will do Marvel Comics Presents with Sam Keith, the Blood Hungry one, because that is one of my favorites. So let's aim to do that one tomorrow. I can see my voice is going. I could see that I am fading, and I have a big morning ahead of me. I gotta get up early again to crank out more boards and get ready for He-Man tomorrow. Thank you as always, Mr. Yaki. Goodbye. Gentlemen, it's been a pleasure. We hit some nice numbers today. We're getting closer to that 4,000. We'll have a celebration. If you guys, you have a sketch. Yeah, we'll have to check it out and vote for Kevlar Blast Shields thing on the Liefeld Facebook page. If you guys are interested in any sort of like cool t-shirt, a Fragaboom t-shirt, Couchdoodles shirt, anything like that, you can check them out at couchdoodles.com. The site has some fun stuff on there, some couple of originals and some t-shirt options, and I'm gonna improve the story eventually. And also, as we near the end of the month, some of these drawings that have been finished, we will be giving some of those away. So stay tuned. Be well, you guys. Inkwell, thanks for coming in. Thanks for saying hello. As usual, gang. You've been watching the Couchdoodles show. I'm your host, Fragaboom, veteran comic artist and creator, 28 years going. Have a great Saturday.
DMC, the face to see, Fragaboom!